The promise of the Internet of Things is to interconnect devices in such a way as to gain insights beyond present comprehension. This is a lofty goal and, frankly, a bit difficult to grasp. In this series of podcasts, we will discuss how the Internet of Things might actually play out. Rather than try to understand how all devices will interconnect, we will focus on one specific device. We will go beyond that device's direct connections and consider the indirect and loosely coupled devices. Instead, let's focus on the Internet of Things. But first, some background. Before we can discuss a specific device, we must understand its function and its intended use. For the remainder of this first episode, we will focus on the FAA's next generation of air traffic control system, and more specifically, their ADS-B technology. The remainder of this episode will provide a technologist's view of ADS-B, thus enabling a conversation around other devices that ADS-B might come in contact with. The current state of civil aviation. This is Joe. He's a pilot. Joe needs to plan for an upcoming flight. Accordingly, he needs to file a flight plan. In order to do that, he needs to consider, among other things, where he is going and the route he will be taking. Finally, this information must be submitted to flight services. More on flight services role later. With that done, Joe sets off for the airport. Upon arriving, Joe has a choice. He can either call flight services station on his cell phone and activate his flight plan, or he can wait till after his departure and contact flight services via the radio. Once flight services is notified, they will monitor the status of his flight. Once Joe reaches his destination, he then closes his flight plan, and flight services will cease to monitor the flight. If at some point Joe fails to check in, flight services will attempt to locate the pilot by checking with various local airports and via his list of contact numbers. If they are not able to find him, the Civil Air Patrol most likely will be notified and a search and rescue mission will be started. Of course, if Joe had to make an unscheduled stop or simply forgot to close his flight plan upon arrival, a search and rescue mission could be kicked off at Joe's expense. This happens more often than you would think. To address this and several other significant safety concerns, the FAA has initiated their next generation of air traffic control systems. Currently, despite modern GPS technologies, many civil aviation flights are managed by secondary radar and transponder broadcasts. This leaves significant room for improvement. That is not to say that modern civil aviation aircraft do not have GPS systems, more accurately GNS, Global Navigation Satellite Systems. Rather, these systems are not used to coordinate aircraft spacing with ATC. A mainstay of the NextGen ATC system is the Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast System, otherwise known as ADS-B. ADS-B creates a 3,000 foot by 3 mile hockey puck shaped envelope around an aircraft. Anything that flies in or out of this zone will be relayed to both aircraft as well as to ATC. In fact, ATC and flight services by extension will get a continuous feed as to where Joe's aircraft is at all times, thus eliminating the potential for human error. In the event of an aviation incident, it will also result in more timely notification to the authorities. It is this ADS-B system that will be the focus of our conversation regarding the Internet of Things, both how it is already a connected device as well as how it might be connected in the future.